Hi, I'm Guy Le Jeune. I'm the writer of UNIFI the musical. I've lived in Donegal nearly 17 years now, and UNIFI was always part of my history from when I first moved here. I remember the trucks passing, I remember the factory, I remember the smell, and I also remember the closure, how it affected the town and how it affected the population. So when I was offered the opportunity to write something for the Earagail Festival, UNIFI was one of those things you think, there's a story there, there's a wonderful story there, a 30-year history. UNIFI the musical, it's a story of 30 years of industrial history in Letterkenny. It's a story of a lot longer in terms of industrial history, because that site in Courtaulds goes back hundreds of years. There was a mill there was a quarry, there was lime kilns, so there's an industrial heritage there going back, hundreds of years. But it's not just a story about Letterkenny. I grew up in England. The town that I lived in England was an underwear and sock manufacturing town. When I grew up, every street had a factory on it, and you could hear the machines knitting constantly, and all that industry is now gone. It's the same story in Strabane with Adria. It's the same story in Grianán, the Fruit of the Moon. It's the same story about the shirt factories in Derry. It's the story of textile industry closing down and moving to the Far East, moving to India, moving to Morocco, where labour is an awful lot cheaper. So UNIFI is just a story, a local story, but it's also a universal story. I think that's what fascinates me about this particular story. So what can you expect? Well, there's blues songs, there's country songs, there's rock and roll, there's a bit of Elvis, there's a bit of rap, there's a bit of Motown. All of the lyrics are basically stories of people's lives and people's working lives. There's a lot of comedy, there's a lot of laughs, there's a lot of choreography and dance and movement, and there's a lot of fun. If you knew nothing about UNIFI, if you turned up, somebody dragged you along and said, we're going to this tonight, you'd have a great night out. If you knew somebody who worked in UNIFI, you lived in Letterkenny during those times, you'll recognise a few things. And if you worked in UNIFI, well, there's some in-jokes, there's some stories that you'll recognise, and there's some characters that you'll definitely recognise. We don't name anybody. Nobody has a particular name, certainly not the senior management, but there are a few people that definitely those who worked in UNIFI would remember and recognise very clearly. It's a great night out, it's great fun, full of great music, a local cast, great musicians. What more could you want?